is windy out today, so beforehand I already apologize for the audio is going to sound horrible. Regardless, let's get on with it. As you guys can see, we are not driving the usual suspect of vehicles. Today we have decided to go and change up the pace a little bit. We are driving a completely bone stock 1997 Ford Ranger. The fact that it is a rear-wheel drive platform gives us the ability to talk about and show you guys a little bit easier what we are going to be talking through today, which is countersteer. First of which, we should talk about oversteer. Oversteer, of course, is when the rear end steps out around the front end of the vehicle, creating a drift or a slide. All it is really is the rear wheels losing grip while the front maintain it, usually, and you can create a nice tight circle or corner. So let's get into it. What is countersteering? Countersteering is when the car starts to oversteer, you turn in the opposite direction. So let's say the truck is starting to turn this way, I'm going to turn the wheel the opposite way and I'm going to look where I want to go. Now, obviously, there's a caveat to this. If you turn too much, you run the risk of overcorrecting and spinning out the opposite direction almost or nearly as fast as you were originally spinning out. So keep this in mind. Ask me how I know. So, enough time wasted. Let's hop in the truck. Now, obviously, to understand countersteering, you have to first be able to get the car to oversteer. So first, I'm going to show you guys how this truck is going to countersteer, and then we'll just kind of play it by ear from there. So obviously, it doesn't take anything crazy. I'm just going to cruise in second gear, add some throttle. The car starts to step out. Ease off the steering more, I can get the truck to over-rotate this way and bring it back around, and I'm playing more with the throttle than I am the steering wheel. Now obviously when you're countersteering in different vehicles, it's going to feel different. You have to add more or less steering angle to get the vehicle to correct, but realistically it should never be something where you're fighting to correct the vehicle. Once you get the hang of it, it comes naturally. Like, you don't really have to think about it. Like, you get the vehicle to step out this way and then this way, and I'm countersteering so I don't clip a rock. Things like that. Countersteer. I'm unwinding the wheel, and once I get it to turn in this way, then I unwind the wheel in the opposite direction, wind it back up and out and in. More throttle. The other way. So it's nothing crazy, but understanding why you need to countersteer is important. Why do you need to know how to countersteer? Well, even just on my way out here, hitting washboard in this truck caused the thing to step out a couple of times. So if that spooks you, you need to understand how to countersteer to correct it. So I'll show you what happens with no countersteer. So we'll go ahead and we'll just do one loop and see what happens when I don't countersteer. I'm just going to turn in and give it a bunch of throttle. Oh wow, look at that. I spun out. Crazy. Never would have guessed, right? As you guys see, like when I'm unwinding the wheel, it doesn't take much to correct, right? Now obviously, if you guys are doing this on the road, don't let the wheels slide through your hands. But out here in the dirt, I'm comfortable with the truck. I don't have to worry too much about the steering wheel just going all willy-nilly on me. The issue I see with a lot of beginner drivers is they throw the wheel too much. They're doing too much with the steering wheel. It really doesn't have that much to do with it. If you want more angle, use the foot brake while you stay on throttle and you maintain your steering position back and forth a little bit, right? If they're not using the steering wheel enough, they're just going to understeer and plow, right? But using the steering wheel too much can cause understeer. So now we're going to act like it's a bad situation. We're sliding, oh my goodness, while we're trying to maintain a corner. And how do we correct it? So we're coming in, way too much throttle. Oh no, it oversteers. Countersteer, and ease off the throttle. That's it. And depending on what kind of platform vehicle, obviously with a front wheel drive car, you're going to countersteer and add throttle. Rear wheel drive car, you're going to countersteer and let off the throttle. And an all wheel drive car, you're going to hope and pray. At least that's the joke. So anyways, let's do that one more time. Oh my goodness, we're sliding, countersteer, let off. Easy as that. And it corrects and it grabs traction again. So Now, of course, you can have a lot of fun with this, just seeing what you can get the vehicle to do, how tight of a circle you can do, you know, stuff like that.